Hello, nobody, because we're on during the 3 o'clock games and everyone with anything in their brain will be watching that. But hopefully, the people later on will listen. Welcome to episode 139 at Mike White's podcast. I'm Jack, as always, joined by Casey.
How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's a bit more important this weekend than it was last weekend. We'll briefly talk about that. It's weird because if we'd have got a decision like that against us in the league, I'd have been fuming forever, but it didn't last as long in this 2-0 defeat to West Ham. It's been a week. Has anyone been able to give you a cogent reason why that wasn't offside yet?
It was blatantly not interfering. I don't know how else to take it. Like, you know, if you were just laying on the floor working on your laptop and you had a child decide to jump over you, you wouldn't think about it. You just lay there, carry on with your work.
Yeah, it was a weird one, that, because even I believe that the only argument I've heard that does have some logic to it, it is still incorrect, but was that before Bowen got there, Vlasic got another touch to the ball, which reset it. It doesn't reset it. That's not how that works. But that is the one argument that I thought maybe the VAR person thought that was the rule.
Yeah.
It
was funny because the commentary was there going, we expect this to be chalked off. Oh, it's been allowed.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, you can tell we had the exact right people on to show it was offside, because on the ITV coverage, for people saying, yeah, it's offside. I mean, obviously, Beckford was going to say it was offside. He doesn't count. But Jermaine Defoe and Dean Ashton.
Yeah.
Yeah, pick the ex-West Ham guys going, oh, yeah, it's definitely offside. So, yeah, that made it easy enough. And it's nice to see...
Not even just ex-West Ham. It's 3 strikers.
Yeah. It was nice seeing Jermaine Defoe on the telly, because I have unironically seen him suggested as a Leeds signing. Now he's left for Rangers.
To be honest, I assume that's why he was there.
Yeah, he was just having a look, seeing what was going on, getting ready to take over for our 5 injured strikers. Obviously, they got another one late on when we were pushing on. Decent finish from Bowen. But I suppose the main thing out of that game is, like, with the levels of the two sides on display, we were all expecting to get beat. That's not really a big worry. I suppose the more interesting thing is, what did you think to Leo Hjelde and Lewis Bate?
I thought Hjelde looked good. I thought he had a very good game and exactly what you wanted, especially coming up against someone like Antonio. You know, it's a test for anyone. But I thought he dealt with it about as well as you could when you've been thrown into a game in that situation. I thought he had a genuinely good performance, not just he did well, all things considered, but he played just well. I thought Lewis Bate had some good touches and passes, but I thought we probably weren't in control enough for him to show what he can do, and sort of, it wasn't really a game that suited his skill set entirely, but I thought he did himself fine.
Yeah, I liked watching Bate on the ball. I thought he was really good at getting himself into space when any of our back four had the ball. I thought that he was better than most that we've had on the pitch at any point in midfield at getting into space in that situation. And he did fine going forward. Hjelde, I agree. I thought he was excellent. For the first time in a long time, I ended up doing the player ratings on Through It All Together. And I gave him our man of the match. And I thought he deserved it. I thought he was excellent. On the goal itself, he got rolled too easily by Vlasic. But then I suppose he made a goal-saving tackle to block it, and then the flag should have gone up. Yeah. So the one mistake he made, he recovered from it brilliantly. It's not his fault that then a decision isn't given afterwards. He did. Yeah, I thought it was really good, and I was glad to see it, because in the 23s, I haven't been sure about him, because he's been shoved out to left back quite a lot because we haven't got one. So I wasn't sure what we were going to see, but I was very pleased with him.
Yeah, I thought he was all right, and then you had Sam Greenwood up front, who I just don't think had enough to work off of to get into the game, unfortunately.
No, well, I mean, it says a lot that I didn't even really bring him up because I didn't think there was a great deal to say. He's technically very good. He's so two-footed. He's definitely got the ability, but he's thrown in and up front where he's barely played up front for the last 15, 16 months. He's been playing in midfield.
Yeah.
So it was a bit harsh on him, and then he got injured as well.
Yeah, which, exactly what we needed right now.
Yeah.
But no, I suppose the kind of good thing to come out of the changes for me was that it was nice to see us at least look like we were having a go in the game, as opposed to last year when it was, the kids coming on at the sort of pre-arranged times and weakening the team. It was quite nice to see us actually think, like, bringing on Rafinha. I don't know if it's what I would have gone with, but
yeah, I think the only one that came off to me as a pre-arranged change was taking Ailing off on the hour mark, dead on the hour mark for sure.
Yeah,
I thought, that strikes me as they planned that one beforehand. I am still very surprised from the way that game was going. I thought it was very harsh on Lewis Bate to take him off at half-time for Dallas. And I thought genuinely that his midfield looked poorer for the change.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seemed an odd one, given none of us were bothered about the game. To make those changes, I don't think we'd have really lost anything from Bate playing, an hour or 70 minutes, whatever. But after the last few goes at the FA Cup, it seemed quite nice to at least think, oh, we're sort of trying to go for this game.
Yeah, we had half a go. You could call it half a go, I think.
Yeah.
But with the squad at the minute, that's all you can expect. Moving on to there has actually been some news this week, which is different. Unfortunately, the main bit of it, well, I say the main bit of it, in a way it is, in a way it isn't, but it's been the big talking point. The headline writer's dream drama involving Cody Drammer. He's gone on loan to Cardiff, which in and of itself is fine. It's weird that it's happening now and not in 2 weeks when in theory we'll have a couple of players back. And they did it, and there was before the press conference yesterday, which is what really got this going. There was a couple of bits in the news stories. Every news story that came out about it had a line in that were Leeds have decided to let him go out on loan, quote, after talks with the player and his agent.
Yeah, his agent was always in every article, wasn't it? It wasn't
regardless of the publication, it was always there. And that was a slight alarm bell. Just because and I have since seen all over Twitter, this agent, he seems to have a lot of players that have forced moves in the last 2 years. That kick off a bit and stuff, which makes me think that it is probably on the agent. Now, should Cody Drammer be wanting to play more senior football? Absolutely he should. I have absolutely no issue with that. This loan, as much as it's to go play for Steve Morrison, probably will do him good as a footballer. But the way it's been handled hasn't exactly been great. There's a lot of Leeds fans that have taken it as, fuck you, I want nothing to do with you ever again, fuck off out of the club, etc.
Thank you, fuck you, bye.
Yeah, which I think that's overkill. But if Bielsa is here next season, I don't think Cody Drammer will be.
No. And again, it's kind of that world. As much as I know, I have an Instagram account. It's very odd when you're seeing, I say a grown man. He's 20, 21, isn't he?
I think he's 20.
But this whole, I'm going to delete any Leeds United pictures and unfollow Leeds United.
Yeah, I've got it here. Apparently, now I don't have an Instagram. I never use it. I don't go on it. Apparently, he regularly deletes all his photos anyway. Like, that's something he just does all the time, apparently. But the unfollowing everyone involved with Leeds, other than like Somerville and someone else, was a bit weird. He did the exact same when he was leaving Fulham as well. But yeah, it's the quotes from Bielsa, which I have here. I didn't think he needed to play games elsewhere. He was a player who was very necessary with all the absences we've had, but he preferred to play outside of Leeds. In a situation where opportunities for youngsters has increased clearly, in this case, Drama would prefer to experiment outside our team. I consider that position valid. I don't think it makes sense to oppose him. This is the one that I really felt like it's, your parents saying they're not mad, they're disappointed.
Mm.
I think Bielsa said this to me, I think I'd cry. What I imagine as a great opportunity, he imagined in a different way. It's more important what he thinks than what I think. I don't think it's convenient to oppose in a situation where a player does or doesn't want to belong.
Yeah. I think for me, it was... There was that, because obviously Bielsa very much takes responsibility for everything and, will never really criticize anyone particularly. I thought, what was the last quote?
Is it the one that was on Adam Pope's Twitter? Because I've got it here.
Yeah, I've got,
Bielsa, whilst wondering where his own shortcomings may be, adds that Drama has preferred to, quote, not to go through a cycle to make him an elite player.
Oof.
That was, oh, Jesus, aloe vera necessary. As I say, I don't hate him for it or anything, but it does sound like Drama and his agent, and as someone who is on the outside with no massive evidence, my instinct is the agent has really not handled themselves in the best way here.
Yeah, and I fully appreciate the stance of, as an agent, wanting your player to be playing football regularly, but it is the timing of it. Like, I know the offer has come in, and there will be talks as to whether Cardiff had a number of targets they were looking at, and if we'd have said no, or if you wait 2 weeks, we can loan him out then. And their thinking is, oh, well, we'll just go after someone else.
Yeah.
So that's what's driven it through. But yeah, he's made his Premier League debut this year. He's made a few appearances. It's on the bench every week at the moment. It seems an odd time to be pushing a move away from a Premier League club at that time. But
yeah, I mean, the one thing that you'd have to say is obviously Shackleton's injured at the minute, but you would still say that he's still, even with all the injuries, his third choice in this position.
Yeah, because Dallas is I still think is the most likely move to right back before.
Yeah, if Ayling's out.
Yeah.
The only reason that Drama gets it is because Dallas is having to play in 5 different positions every week.
Yeah.
So I can the loan itself, I think is the right thing. It's just it doesn't seem to have been handled in the best way, and it's clearly pissed Bielsa off because he doesn't say things like that for no reason.
No, it's the number of things that happened, and I think it was on the Phil Hay podcast when they likened it to Samu Saiz and his wanting to leave.
Yeah.
You can see the parallels there, and again, if it is the thinking of, well, he wants to leave, right? Let him.
It does appear that is Bielsa's attitude. You want to go, yeah. Fine, go. I mean, like he said as much. If a player wants to leave, I'm not going to oppose it.
Can I come back and get my flip-flops? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Any player who comes to me and says he doesn't want to be here can count on me to let him leave. That's a quote. Like, God, I love Bielsa so much. Because, like, that's what we all say when we've had 6 pints down the pub. If he wants to go, fuck him. He can go. But it's a completely different thing to be actually in charge and go, no, he can go.
I have no strong opinion on this either way, but you know what? Fuck Cody Drum.
Yeah. Can Liam McCallum play left back? Cool. He can play right back then.
It was quite funny through all this as well because I was watching the Bournemouth game earlier. Just Leif Davis started that for them, and I was like, wouldn't be the worst thing if he could come back.
Yeah,
Because especially at left back, if Dallas is the cover for right back and the cover for left back,
and centre mid,
and if he gets injured, this whole thing falls to pieces.
Well, I can't actually remember his name off the top of my head, but we were being linked with. Is it Oldham's left back? Who's a young kid. One of them again who's been playing a bit of senior football, and he'd be like $750,000 to $1 million. Very Victor Orta under 23 signing. But we'll see with that one. The main one is, of course, our big central midfield signing has got a new deal. Adam Forshaw, a new 1-year deal. So to the end to summer 2023, and Leeds have an option of a second year. Good to put the option on the Leeds end, because as much as I'm delighted with how well he's come back and he looks every bit a Premier League footballer despite all the injuries, you never know. If it goes again, he is done.
Yeah.
so you don't want to be giving him a long contract, but
very good news, because if we wouldn't have had him this last month and a half, I think we'd have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
He came back and very quickly became integral. Like, I don't know, that's involved 2 heavy defeats, but the amazing thing is, at no point have I looked and thought he looks out of it, or like he looks like this game is too fast for him, apart from the Man City game when it was too fast for literally all of them.
Yeah. His first couple of games back, he looked a bit slow. But he has done unbelievable. I don't think that there's been many times where I've seen a player get a new contract and I thought, God, I'm really pleased for you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, he's made it to 30 and he's been playing in the top 2 divisions for the last 10 years. Like, if he retired, he'd be absolutely fine. So it's not about that. But the fact that he's worked that hard and made his way back and been able to play at this level is genuinely a very impressive feat.
He's gone in for treatment for pretty much 2 years at this point and watched everyone celebrate a promotion and then everyone have the joy of that first Premier League season. And he's just had to lie there throughout that whole thing and just wait and hope. And then we all sat there through his first game back, and every time he did anything, you're thinking, I don't slide for that. Like,
yeah, he's absolutely earned it. He's done brilliantly. We're just coming up on half time. In the perfect result, Newcastle are still 0-0 with Watford. And Norwich are 2-0 up against Everton, which, if that finishes like that, I think Rafa Benitez is getting sacked.
Yeah. Oh, Rafa.
Will we feel like anyone else is getting sacked after a second trip to West Ham on Sunday?
No.
Obviously, yeah. True, even if we get beat 8-0, no. But, so since the FA Cup game, Llorente is now suspended. Cody Drammer has fucked off to Cardiff. And Firpo, it sounds like he's fit after the head injury, because it wasn't a concussion, apparently. So he should be fit. And then in his press conference, Phil Hay said the immortal words that we'll see if they're true: Struijk, Rodrigo and Bamford are options.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. Do you think any of those 3 start?
I could see Struijk starting out of any of them.
How long's Struijk been out?
I can't remember.
I think it's been a while.
These injuries just blend into one. Bamford got injured at Newcastle and it all fell to pieces, basically, is how I remember this.
Yeah, I was trying to put together a team in my head, and I do keep thinking if one of them's going to get thrown in. I could honestly see Struijk and Bamford starting, even though it's so un-Bielsa. That is not his way to throw 2 back in. But I don't think there's any chance of Rodrigo starting. But Struijk, would make such a difference, especially when Robin Koch is probably going to have to play DM.
Yeah.
So that would make a big difference. And obviously, Bamford, if he plays, is the only fit striker. It's Dan James if he doesn't.
And if he scores, just relaxed celebrations. Just
shake hands.
Don't go near the crowd. Don't get COVID. Yeah. Don't do anything stupid now. Yeah. Just like you say, nice gentle handshakes and walk back to halfway.
Yeah. Apparently, Thomas Souček and Mark Noble are both looking like they'll be available again for West Ham.
I am more bothered about Souček, but
yeah, I mean, they've got other people can take the penalty if Mark Noble's not playing, which is basically what he's for at this point. And Kurt Zouma's back in training, which would be a shame for us because as much as it's not a bad defence, but Dawson and Diop, it's a much stronger defensive Zouma's there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their team because again, theirs is their first team is still pretty strong, and I know they put out a good team against us. They put out a full strength team against Norwich midweek. But yeah, as you kind of look through their bench, they're not to the same extent we have, but they were down to sort of 4 or 5 first team players as opposed to Mateus Click and Children.
Yeah. As I said, it's a very good side. They're up that elite league for a reason. When you think through the team, I suppose the main things are. I think we should probably assume Firpo's fit from everything that's been said this week. Because obviously, if he's not fit, that means Dallas is playing left back, and that the knock-on effects of that are massive. So, do you think that we'll end up? Well, I'm basically trying to figure out what the centre backs are going to be. Like, does he play right back and move Ayling across? Does he play Koch at the back with, say, Strauch, and then he has to play Forshaw DM? Because
if you do that, so it would be Forshaw, Click.
Like, there's one here that I noted. Meliengol, Ayling, Koch, Strauch, Firpo, Forshaw, then Rafinha on right, Dallas and Click at middle, James on left, and Bamford up top. If Bamford isn't fit, Harrison on left with James up top. That's if Strauch is fit to play. But if Strauch isn't fit to play, do you just keep all the midfielders where they are and just put Hjelde in?
I think so. Yeah, and just replace Bate with Dallas from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the lineup, we're going to go with the same formation, aren't we? That they're not likely to change.
No, they'll be roughly 4-2-3-1 unless something mental happens. So we'll be 4-1-4-1.
Yeah. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, as I said, the other issue
just is put Max Dean up front.
By the way, there was a game last night. I don't know if you saw it.
Absolute worldie.
Yeah.
Love it.
2-1 win over Wigan in the Premier League Cup with a very, very, very young under-23 side. It's a good result. A really good goal from Nohan Kenner, and then a much better one from Max Dean.
Yeah, I'm starting to really like Max Dean. Obviously, the first time I properly saw him was that Arsenal game. And his work rate is what makes you love him. But I think he's a good footballer as well.
Yeah, he's definitely. There's some shades of Alan Smith about the way he chases everything down and he's really aggressive and seems permanently pissed off. I do wonder, with all the injuries, if he could end up just on the bench.
Love it.
Well, I mean, I know it sounds like Rodrigo might be fit enough to be on the bench this time, and if Bamford's there, Rodrigo and Dan James, that's probably enough strikers in Bielsa's mind to cover.
Yeah.
But there is an argument for throwing Max Dean on there. I said the other thing with our team would be if he doesn't want to play Forshaw in holding mid, which I could understand why he's better when he's slightly further forward. If Koch plays in DM, then we are properly a centre-back short. So you're looking at Ayling and Strauch or Ayling and Hjelde.
I really do not see Ayling and Hjelde.
Yeah, I think you can only do that if Strauch's fit, can't you? You can only play Koch in DM if Strauch's fit.
Yeah. No, as much as I think Luke Ayling understands the role and can do the position, he's not the man I want to see be having to deal with Michail Antonio.
Yeah, when he's only and he would also be having to, as much as Hjelde did well, if you're the other centre back alongside Hjelde, your job is to shepherd him through it as well.
Mm.
Which Ayling is good at. He's got the experience, but when he's playing out of position, you don't really want that.
No, I don't want him to be the senior central defender, really.
I feel like, I'll tell you what we do need in this game. We need a performance out of Rafinha. And I know that it's a lot of pressure on him, and it's not fair because he's dragged us out shitloads of times this season. But we need a performance out of him for this game.
It'll be very interesting to see, because I did think in the cup game, again, given it's going to be a very similar team, I don't think West Ham ever really got out of second gear.
No.
Now, whether that's a case of they were holding back for that or whatever it was, but it was a little bit of a shame, because I did feel like that we could have got at them probably a bit more than we did. But I know it was, you would have been there. I didn't get to that one, but the game at Ellen Road was a competitive game.
First half, we were all over them, actually. We played some really good stuff. But out of that game in the end, a draw would have been a fair result, and then Antonio nicked it late. It wasn't his fault. The actual problem was we overcommitted too many men forward in the last minute and got caught. It was the one time in the entire game that Cresswell got a little bit out of position and against Antonio and struggled, having been really good for 92.5 minutes.
Yeah. Kill for Charlie Cresswell.
Yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't mind Richard Cresswell at this point. He's a striker.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the only other thing that I think is that, like, if Firpo isn't fit and Dallas plays left back, that leaves that gap in middle.
Yeah.
And then you just have to wonder, does Lewis Bate get another go? Or do they just stick Koch in DM, stick Koch in way, and just play Forshaw and Click? It's probably that, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. If Dallas plays left back, the weird thing is that means that if Dallas plays left back, just in order to make the midfield work, we're more likely to have the less experienced centre-back partnership. That's what makes the Ayling-Hjelde thing most likely, is if Firpo's not fit.
Yeah.
There's so many moving pieces when you try and work out our team.
It was bad enough when we were just trying to figure out when we had a full-strength team. It's a real headache now trying to place it. At some point, I don't know, Lewis Bates going to end up as a right back or something, just filling in because he can press forward with the ball well.
Yeah. I
don't even know what to believe anymore.
Well, I mean, before we got properly injured, Bielsa did pick Forshaw at right wing back in a couple of friendlies, didn't he? So you never know. The usual question, mate. How do you think this is going to go?
Not well.
Not confident.
No. God,
the resignation in your voice. Oh shit! You're the positive one of the two of us.
We've just lost to them. I think we're going to lose again. I'm going to say 2-1. Look, I don't think it's going to be ridiculous or anything, but I don't see us getting anything from it.
No idea why. 1-0 win.
Love it.
I never go for the needlessly positive thing, but I've just got a weird feeling we're going to win this game. And I don't think we'll deserve to either. I think we'll be second best.
Yeah.
I mean, we could always just pull what was a Liverpool and is now an Arsenal after the news today, and just try and get it called off.
Should go around the boot room and just test them all quickly, see if anyone has COVID.
Yeah, like,
has one of you got any symptoms? Just one.
well, with that today, have you seen that they have officially called off the Arsenal Spurs game?
Yeah.
Now, I would love to. I'm not actually having a go at Arsenal because it's not their fault. According to the rules, their squad is low enough with their one COVID case that they can get the game called off. What I'm having to go at is the Premier League because those rules are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know, because what you have to have like 14 senior players, is it now? Well, because that includes
now that they've actually put a number on it, as opposed to before, it was just you write in your case and we'll tell you yes or no.
Yeah, but basically, it's like they under 23 players only count as a senior player if they have played a game for someone this season. So if you've got an under 23 that's really highly rated and has never played, it don't count. So all it ends up being is the club saying we don't trust any of these kids, and it's just stupid. And we had a couple called off, and admittedly, our squad situation was worse than when Arsenal and Liverpool are doing it by a long way.
Yeah.
But I think we have now reached a point where the piss is being taken, and they just ought to say, "Nah, you're playing," unless you have, I don't know, 7 cases of COVID, not 7 out, not 12 out, or maybe even only 5, but a certain number that are COVID cases. Because, like, for instance, Leeds' squad is fully vaccinated, they've already said. If Leeds had an outbreak despite that, which could happen, and we had 7 players out with COVID, I think it's probably fair for that game to get postponed. But if we've got 2 out with COVID and 7 injured, I think that's tough. And I think that should be the same. I think we've reached a point now where clubs are. I mean, we all joked about it when we were getting battered every week, saying, "Can we just say a couple of them have got COVID so we can get these games called off?" And that's now what's happening, I think.
Yeah, and again, this is not a disrespectful comment about the African Cup of Nations, but you can't be pissed off when you sign players who are going to go to that tournament regularly, and then they go to that tournament.
Yeah, and the press release specifically said, as one of the reasons, with players away at the African Cup of Nations.
It's like, yeah, but you knew this was likely going to come in August. You know, the only thing was, is Thomas Partey going to go to the African Cup of Nations, or is he going to be injured?
Yeah,
I think he's gone to the African Cup of Nations. You know,
just a thing that I've just seen, just to mention. You know, like Fulham's games have been fucking mental lately.
Yeah,
including their 7-0 win away at Reading, where Andy Carroll scored 2 absolute belters that both got disallowed.
Yeah.
Just coming up on half time, in first half stoppage time, it's Fulham 5, Bristol City 2.
Wow.
Mitrovic has got a first half hat trick.
His goal record this season is phenomenal.
Well,
last I saw it was 24 goals in 23 games.
Yeah, I've just checked. The BBC one isn't updated. He's played 23. He's got 24 goals and 6 assists, and he's got a first half hat trick today, so it's actually 27.
Yeah. Remember when he didn't play that well?
Oh, he's also got an assist.
Remember that year he didn't play so well under Scott Parker?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The year that they went up and he wasn't even playing that well, so they ended up dropping him a bit at the end of the season because they played better without him. He did still get about 27 goals that season.
Yeah.
He just didn't play well.
Oh, what? Yeah. Because I watched the Bournemouth game earlier, like I said, and that was mad. It's great seeing Luton play like that, though.
But you're now in a house where there is no BT, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't have BT. Money grabbing bastards.
Yeah.
Not like Sky.
Mom and pop shop Sky.
What I quite like about that was we briefly got a glimpse into a world of bad refereeing without VAR because Luton scored a second, Cameron Jerome, and he was offside. But the flag did not go up. So they celebrated. They went back to their half. And while all the replays were going on, including, several angles of the goal, then to check for offside, like check and see if it was offside. And then it cuts back, and then the linesman is stood there with his flag held up. And you're like, right, this is 2 minutes after the goal has gone in.
Yeah.
And you have now put your flag up. I don't think that's how this works.
No, that mind you, I'd still rather that version of shit refereeing than the VAR version.
I just looked at that. No, I think I sat there and genuinely went, look, that goal should have been disallowed. But you clearly weren't disallowing it. So I'd rather be angry at humans than angry at humans who are aided by technology.
Yeah. Right, well, so you are very, very much a pessimist. For some reason this week I'm an optimist. It doesn't happen very often. Maybe it's just because I'm not working nights next week, and because I have been working them this week, I'm just in a good mood.
Nice.
But hopefully, and for one of the only times this season I've actually got to work during the game, so I'm really not going to be productive for 2 hours during tomorrow's shift.
Yeah.
Ah, well. So God, actually, if we win, that sets an awful precedent. That means for away games, I've got to try and work. But yeah, that will do us for episode 139 at Mighty White's podcast. We will be back some point next week because next one after this is Newcastle at home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is quite the large match.
Is it the international break after this game?
No, it's not.
Is it a cup? Is it a cup break? Newcastle then international.
Yeah, I believe that is right. We've got Newcastle on 22nd, and then Villa's on the 9th of Feb. So I don't know if that's FA Cup. That probably is FA Cup 4th round, isn't it? Or is it international? I don't know. Either way, we don't have a game.
Yeah.
If it's international break, we'll play Liverpool then. Because that'd be an interesting game.
If we're ever going to play Liverpool, I'd rather do it while Salah and Mane aren't there.
Yeah. Well, there's a decent chance of that. We'll see. But yeah, that will do us, and we'll be back next week. So I've been Jack. See ya.
I'm in KC. Have a good